Hey guys, thanks for joining us. We are excited to show off the capabilities of Cosmic and Resend. Um, we're joined today by Jeff Hovinga, who is our Cosmic Senior Account Executive, as well as Vibe Code Aficionado. So he's going to show off some cool stuff as far as what he's built with the Cosmic AI platform. And we have joining us today special guest Chris Pennington with Resend. So excited to have you join us and kind of give us some insight into what you guys are cooking up at Resend. Lots of cool new things that I see coming, and as well as like maybe just some really kind of simple implementations we can cover as we kind of integrate Cosmic and our AI features into some of the core features that you guys offer at Resend. So to kind of kick things off, I'll just kind of pass it around for a quick intro. So I'm Tony Spiro, the CEO at Cosmic. So Cosmic is a AI-enabled platform for building websites and applications. We offer a headless CMS as well as natural language speech to code capabilities. And so it makes it really easy to go from zero to production in minutes using natural language. So I'm excited to show you guys some of the capabilities as far as like integrating email into your applications today. And yeah, I'll just kind of pass it over to Jeff. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I am Jeff. As Tony mentioned, I'm our account executive here at Cosmic. Zero dev experience, so I'm kind of a resident no coder, but I'm drinking coffee at 2 p.m. and building applications with Cosmic, so feeling like a developer more every day. So that's my role here. So reach out to me if you have any help, need help building your Cosmic sites. I'd love to help.
Yeah, and I'm Chris. I'm a developer experience engineer at Resend, and my job is to basically help developers have a voice within the company and then also promote things that we're doing to others. A lot of that's just showing off the amazing people who work at Resend and also the new features, trying to educate people on how to use it and best practices around deliverability. But Resend itself is an email API for developers that allows you to add email sending and receiving capabilities within your own applications. And so whether you're technical or not technical, we found everyone has really enjoyed the developer experience that we try to bring to Resend. And so I'm excited to be able to chat about what this looks like within Cosmic as well today.
Great. Thank you guys. So yeah, let's kick things off here. I'll show you kind of as a general summary for what we want to accomplish today. So I'll be building out a simple website using Cosmic's AI features and implementing a contact form using Resend. Just kind of showing you guys how quick and easy it is to implement this feature, which is a really common use case for creating interactivity within your website. And once I'm done with my portion, I'll hand it over to Jeff to show what he has been building, and then it'll go over to Chris to kind of tie things in a nice little bow around how what Resend is offering as far as like new capabilities or anything else that he wants to cover. So to kind of kick things off on my end, I'll share my screen. Can you guys see my screen okay? Sweet.
Yeah.
So just in a oops, I triggered Siri. I'll make sure not to say SWEET. Looking at the Cosmic dashboard, so kind of going into this, starting from scratch, I wanted to just show quickly what this looks like when you build your new project. Going into Cosmic, you can start with cosmicjs.com is where to find the homepage, and then you can log in. And once you get logged in, you'll get prompted to start your project. So a couple of ways to get started is with AI. You can just start with speech to build your content model as well as your code, or you can start with one of our community projects, which demonstrates some different use cases as far as like simple blogs, applications using e-commerce, or even some of the functionality that we're going to demonstrate with contact form and just communication. So you can kind of browse those. But for us today, we'll go ahead and start with a pre-built application that I set up just so we can kind of jump right to the contact form part of it a bit quicker. If you did want to go through here, it would kind of just be a couple of different prompts to get there. But for us, let's go ahead and just jump right into this this food blog that I set up. So as you can see, we've got a few different things that maybe I'll just zoom in so we can see this maybe a little better on everyone's screen. So you'll see we've basically started with a simple prompt of build me a food blog, uh, a travel food blog, and I'll kind of show off what that prompt is for this. So create a content model for a world food travel blog with posts, authors, and categories. So looking at our dashboard, we have a few different things to review, which is our object types that were created. So we have our blog posts, authors, as well as categories. So all of this was actually done using our AI capabilities. So simply just typing into the prompt here, create a content model with blog posts, authors, categories, got us to this point, which is all of these are kind of pre-populated with demo content and ready to be added into your application. So that's kind of the high level to understand with Cosmic is we provide the ability to not only create code, but also content. So you can go into your AI studio and create your content models and create your demo content with images and be ready to go as far as like a good starting point for an application that maybe you want to update later all of the demo content to be your own. So with that, I'll go ahead and go into the code part of it. So you can kind of consider in this main navigation, your objects are your content, your media is your media assets. AI Studio is for updating your content and your code. And then this code area kind of goes a step deeper into what you can do within your code AI capabilities. Let me know if you guys have any questions along the way, and I can kind of pause and kind of cover anything that maybe needs a little more clarification, but I'll just kind of keep going down the line here. So in this view, we have our repository for our code. I will go ahead and just kind of do a high level on what this looks like in these different tabs. So your files is kind of your VS Code style file editor. So if you do want to make any code changes, you can do that here. For us, we'll be kind of using the AI. So that's a kind of a different experience, but you do have kind of your familiar VS Code style editor here as well if you want to make those updates without AI. Your deployments, pull requests, your logging. This is access logs, domain management. If you want to add a custom domain, you can do that here. Environment variables. This is where we're going to be adding our resend key, but it won't be in this view. We've got a different view within the actual chat, which will show us how to do that. And then basic settings. So just if you have any questions regarding the organization, let me know. But for us, we're just going to basically be going into this AI code editor to do all of our updates. So we haven't really looked at what this application is looking like on the front end, but this will give you like a little preview on the right side when you're in this chat view, what your deployed application looks like. So we've already created our content model, our demo content, and also deployed our application. And now it's being hosted here at this Cosmic site subdomain. So without any custom coding or code IDE updates, this was all done using natural language. We now have a pretty easy, a pretty simple blog application dedicated to food. So who doesn't love a good food blog with just kind of basically documenting a world food traveler's journey to different countries. So pretty exciting. So clicking around, you'll see like we've organized things into like different categories. And that's all done through the Cosmic AI capability of just sort of creating these like category object relationships. So yeah, it's basically at a good starting point now where we can say, okay, we've got our food travels documented. Now we'd like to actually interact with our visitors. So what's a good way to do that? We could add some social media links. We could, create a newsletter uh, input field, or we could create a contact form, which we'll do that next. So now that I have my food blog kind of preview on this side, let's go ahead and use this chat input for creating our uh, Resend powered contact form. So to do that, thankfully we have this button here to add any sort of feature prompts that we want to add, pre-built, helpful to just kind of show you some of the capabilities. So starting at the top here, we have our contact form, create a contact form with uh, contact page, excuse me, for with a contact form that when submitted sends an email from my email to my email with basic user information, name, email, message, and sends emails using Resend, right? So that's already kind of encouraged there. So Chris, just take note of that. We got a direct implementation for you guys.
I love that.
I'll pause for applause.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. That's
Um,
super helpful to like kind of direct people too, because a lot of times if you're coming from this direction, you need a little bit of help of kind of where to start. So I love seeing that and love that Resend is the trusted one right now. That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Kind of, mentioning that Resend is great for developer experience. That's something that we highly value as far as like, our API is super intuitive. This experience with using AI is definitely a developer focused approach of saying how are developers using AI tools. We definitely see it as a higher level abstraction on already really well built developer tools, and we're excited to kind of encourage our customers to use the best tools for that premium developer experience, which I think you guys offer.
Mm.
So anyway, so let's let this rip and see what happens. Okay, so I've got my email here. Ooh, Tony at Cosmic. So I'll go ahead and update this prompt to include my email address. And something to keep in mind, I think at a high level, your API, or excuse me, your AI development is only as powerful as your prompting and your context. So notice we offered this simple prompt drop down here to kind of get users set up with an easy way to add their prompt. But also we've got this big juicy context button here, which in my opinion, it just uh, supercharges your capabilities when it comes to using AI in the Cosmic AI workflow. So high level, we have brand guidelines. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but that'll give you like, if you want to have a certain tone to all of your either content or your code or your, color schemes that you want, your design standards. Maybe you want a certain specific pixels around your border radius that needs to be exactly 4 pixels. Different things like that that you want to like, kind of keep consistent across all of your development. You can do that here. Your objects, this is key for doing any sort of updates to your content. You can remove content, your objects here if you need to maybe conserve some tokens. That's also helpful just to kind of keep the token usage low. Media reference, adding an image saying, make the design look like this screenshot or Figma file or whatever. External links, you can put in a link to Resend's blog, say pull me the latest blog posts and add them into Cosmic. That you can do a lot with that as far as like just scraping external websites. Media API for your Cosmic Media MCP server is something that it's becoming more popular nowadays. So that's pretty much it for context. But for us, what I think we can do is just eliminate the objects just to kind of conserve tokens and maybe speed things along. Um, because we don't necessarily need any content for our contact form. If we're just thinking we want to have the capabilities to send and receive emails, so that just requires code editing. So that's something to keep in mind as you're kind of building out your project is, do I need this content or do I just need to do specific code updates? And so in our case, it's just code for now. So with that, let's go ahead and let this rip. Unless you guys have any questions, I'll go ahead and click the send button.
Let's do
Drum roll,
it.
please. All right, now while that's doing its thing, I want to just mention this is kind of a verbose way of doing your work. I think it's important to uh, at least in this early stage of using AI for some of these capabilities, knowing a bit about what the AI is thinking to maybe help debug anything that kind of goes off the rails. So that's what you'll see in this experience here. It is maybe a little bit more of this like um, instructional information, or you kind of know a little bit about how the sausage is being made. This may change in the future. We might streamline this to be a little bit less verbose. Um, for me, I think it's helpful to understand what the AI is doing. Right now, it's analyzing the files in our code base, and it's telling us what files it thinks it's going to need to do its updates. As you can see, it's working in this kind of these files here, the package.json file. We can see it did add Resend's SDK version 3.2. We can see it did add to our environment example the Resend API key. So that's kind of the thinking process, and the implementation process is kind of what you'll see in this view. So I'll pause if you guys have any questions about that.
I really like how you can actually see that. A lot of times there's a little too much magic with AI builders, so that you can see the thinking process. I think is super useful as a developer to kind of be able to understand what's going on even without having to look at all the code changes immediately.
Definitely. Yeah, I think if if anything, the the downsides of the AI slop that you hear about, like people having to fix later, I think is outweighed by the benefit the developers get with the educational aspect of just pair programming with AI, with a 10x, 100x engineer. Even if they do like maybe over engineer a thing or two, it's like super helpful to know like why they're doing something, and what are some of the things that it does under the hood. So yeah, I agree with that. I think it's good to kind of know a little bit more about what's going on. So let's see what happened. Uh-oh, development failed. Bam, 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 bam. Meow. So what does that mean? I think it might just mean that it's actually a good sign. It's trying to get the resend key, but it fails when it doesn't have it. So looks like we need to include a step here, which is this environment variable. I think maybe in the future we can improve this process by uh, enabling the user to add the environment variable first. Like I mentioned before, you can do that. Um, if you wanted to just skip that step and just add it here, you could do that. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you guys when you do hit this like um, this deployment failure, uh, it could just give you some helpful information about maybe something it's missing. So in this case, the resend API key. So let's go ahead and add that. What I'll do is go into the resend.com dashboard. So go ahead, get your account set up, and then go to API keys. And then we'll go ahead and create a new API key here for, uh, call it the resend demo.
I should mention we try to be really friendly to new projects, especially. So we give you there's like a fairly generous free tier for both marketing and more transactional stuff like this. So you can do all this with a free account with Resend. You don't have to pay to try it out. So I think it's 3,000 emails a month, and that's sending and receiving.
Yeah, super generous. We were able to get started with it. I think that even like the fact that you can send using the developer email was super frictionless, where you don't necessarily have to have your domain set up yet, and just kind of test
Yeah.
it out. So that was really great.
Oh,
Um,
cool. Yeah. Well, that's one of our main goals is to make it frictionless as much as possible.
Well, again, as non-developer in my project, you'll see I have my Resend connected to my actual domain. And so following all the docs to get that connected to Vercel, super easy. And yeah, I'm rocking and rolling with sending email.
That's awesome.
So for us, we've got our domain already verified. So we'll go ahead and just use that. And I'll copy this securely over into our environment variable here. So it's already pre-filled to the key that it needs to be, and just paste it there. So add variable. Now it does mention you have added the environment variable. However, you probably need to redeploy it. So let's go ahead and do that here.
Yeah, and that API key, depending how you set it up, can give access to your whole account. So obviously, you want to keep that private as you're building things out as well. So we try to make that easy to kind of hide and hard to show unless you really need to. But we only show it that one time. So that's another note here is that you'll need to copy it here and then securely store it somewhere. And if you need to, you can always create another one. In fact, it's good practice to obviously rotate those with all of the services that you have.
Definitely. All right, so now we have our deployment complete. And let's go ahead and open this up into another tab. Now we have a new page for contact. Let's go ahead and click the contact page, get in touch. So uh, we'll go ahead and fill this out. And I'll send it. And that might have been actually a little bit too fast for my liking. I might have like put like a spinning wheel on that or something just to say it's processing, but that was pretty fast. So probably something on the resend end. Maybe don't make your API so fast. Um,
Yeah, we'll have to test to see. It's possible. I didn't quite see the code, but it's possible too that, sometimes the implementation needs an extra step or something like that. So, well, you should see if it actually delivered or not, which you can do in the recent dashboard or obviously by checking your email as well.
all right, let's go ahead and do that. So yeah, just teasing you, but you can actually put the
I'll
front end
pass
like
that
a
feedback
loading and then
along.
set a timeout for like a second or two. But you know.
Pass
Um,
that feedback, slow it down.
okay, so let's see. Oops, sorry, I'm showing emails. Um, maybe we'll not do that. Let's go ahead and I'll
Yeah,
just show on my Google account what that looks like so we don't
perfect.
share anybody's email. Okay, so we have this contact form now submitted to Tony Spiro at Tony at cosmicjs.com, and then pretty simple uh, implementation. If you wanted to make this even more stylized to the website, you could go into your AI Cosmic AI dashboard and just ask it to maybe add more of the website style to the email itself. It looks like it did carry over the orange branding, which is something that maybe it does intuitively, but you can definitely like style this out and not have to touch any code and just create your email template using AI. So that's pretty much it. That concludes my part of this session. We built out our website using natural language. We prompted a new contact page with a contact form powered by Resend and sent it out without any issue. So, what do you guys think?
I'd love to see that frictionless approach. I was going to mention too, I don't, depends how technical you are. If you're more technical and you say, you know what, I want kind of full control over my email, but I don't want to have to like manually hard code HTML tables. We do fund and like this was our starting point was with an open source package called React Email, where you can use React to build an email template. So you're using React components, but then it can convert it to HTML. So React.email, if you want to play around with that, or if you want AI to help, you can go to new.email, which can even pull in branding from your site and then generate a React email template based on whatever website you have. So there are a couple more technical options if you want them. And again, we just render that directly to kind of old school HTML. So if you want a little bit more control and you're more technical, some of those may be a help to you. And again, these are open source.
Yeah, this is a great resource. I've definitely spent some time using React email, and I think maybe that might actually be what's used under the hood here.
Okay.
Sometimes when you ask it to use Resend, it might actually um, create the email using React email. It might not have done that in this case, but you can definitely prompt it to do that, just to have like that dual threat of using the AI, but also if you do need to go using the code, if you want to be using React email, that's also an option for you. So
Yeah. Well, that's great. That was cool to see.
cool. Well, yeah, thank you for
I'm really enjoying
letting me
it,
show that
Jeff's.
off to you guys, and let's take it to
Yeah,
Yeah.
should I show
I
my
like
project?
Jeff's non-technical approach, and I'm excited to see like the preview you've already given. I'm like, this is cool to see somebody who's maybe not as developer technical, but obviously still a creator, kind of your flow into Resend and things you ran into. And sounds like it was fairly frictionless, which is great to hear, but I'd love to see it firsthand.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump into it. And also, as a big domain fan, the fact that you guys have new.email is very cool. That's probably exciting when you guys snag that one.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
All right, so let me share my screen and kind of jump into my project. So I created this fun membership website, and we don't have to get into like the weeds today of what this is, but it's kind of my fun like sandbox world that I'm playing in Cosmic. And so what I did was I created this membership website. I went through the same steps that Tony did with the prompts. Um, and this was kind of all I had, this homepage. But I wanted people to be able to contact me as well. So similar prompting, although I did nothing with Resend to begin with. I said I want users to be able to fill out a form to get in touch. So they're able to click this contact form, fill out their information, and send the message. I can just do that. Oops. Let me just do that quick just to show kind of what that looks like. Test. So right now, this is I don't believe anything with Resend is happening right now. That was all Cosmic, and it then gets saved in my contacts section. So
Hmm.
you can see this is a different one I had where it's saved as an object, kind of all my information. So I got a lot of these. I have like 300 plus emails or contacts that people sent in. And again, non-developer, I sat here like, what do I do with these? I mean, I have their email address. I can reply back, but I took the approach of, well, I'd love to see all of these emails. So I created a admin page. Dun, dun, dun. And so this is my admin page that I built again with simple prompts on the Cosmic side, and it built out then all of these emails that I'm getting. And again, this is 323 actual contacts that people have filled out to submit to this web page that I built. And on my actual site, these are not hashed out. You can see kind of the full contact info. For today, I prompted to hash these out for security, so that's also really cool. But yeah, you can kind of click on these. Whoops, this wasn't a big email, but you get the email right here. So I have a question: how do I sign up? My test that I just filled out now. So I got these. I was able to see them, and that was really cool. But I wanted to reply. That was kind of my next step. And I found that with all projects, this is a good example to where you should take things one step at a time versus build. I want a massive admin dashboard with email and all these different kind of analytics features. You can do that, but I've seen people run into some issues with the code. So taking it one step at a time really works out. So I signed up for Resend, got my API key, and said, now I want to reply to these individuals. Just like Tony did, it asked me to add in my Resend API key, and then it gave me this button. So I can now click on any one of these buttons to reply via email. And I can say, test back at you and hit send. And again, fast resend immediately. Um, it fired off that email to the user. And then it even changes for me the status. So it's in progress, so I can filter it to new and get rid of the one that I just sent. And so that's really my kind of, very simply adding in the resend capabilities and prompting a couple prompts to say I want to email individuals. And one thing I did in addition was I added a prompt that said, I not only want my reply to be sent, but I want this original message to be included. So my user, so they have some context. If I don't reply right away, they can see what they messaged me. And that was added as well. So really simple form, hit email and resend kind of does all the work for me. So that's, if you guys have any questions about kind of my approach, but super easy. And again, I have zero technical skills to get us there.
That's pretty cool. I'm curious about the adding the DNS records. I know you mentioned that that was fairly frictionless, but did you have any questions about like why you needed that or how it went? Or yeah, I'm just curious how that process went for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when I first signed up, I wanted to connect it to my actual domain. So I got to my domain page here. And I've already forgotten what these looked like when you're not verified, but each one of these is telling you to do that. And I've dabbled in the world of kind of changing your DNS records, even in Cosmic when you're getting your custom domain and you've deployed to Vercel, we kind of take you through the steps to do that. So Cosmic kind of did the first steps of teaching me that. But then again, this button here, how to add to Vercel, literally hand holding me perfectly how to do that. So
Oh, good.
followed these steps and gosh, zero issues. 15, I mean, it's instant verification pretty much. I know you guys say it can take up to so long, or maybe that's on Vercel's side of things, but in terms of when I got this set up, it happened immediately and worked without any issue. And now my next step, and I think you mentioned, and I can even see it now here, is allowing people to reply to that email. That's
Yeah.
going to be, I think, my next step in this process is to get that set up because that'd be
Yeah.
really cool.
There's kind of an in between right now if you don't want to set up the whole receiving MX records because there's some more complexity, some technical complexity there. But there's actually a way in the email that you send to include a reply to email address. And most of the time, email clients will honor that. So you could just ask Cosmic to, hey, make sure they reply to this email address. And it could send it to your own email address, whatever, wherever you want to receive that. So that would be a really quick, like intermediate fix. That's what we used to do before we had inbound. But you could also set up inbound as well. It just requires a little bit more technical know-how because you need a webhook that can then receive the data, parse that, and display it. So that would be a nice intermediate step that would at least allow that back and forth without you having to kind of go through all those technical hoops.
Like, yeah, when in doubt, prompt it out. So yeah, I'll do that prompt today. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, there is a lot in the email world that's just odd, and maybe it might be helpful to talk through a couple of kind of gotchas that'd be easy to fall into. And then I'm happy to take other questions or talk about new features or things like that if that sounds good.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so when you first set up email, we do require that you have your own custom domain to send to anybody but your own account. Email is one of those areas where you can really easily let bad actors in. People want to use email to spam and to get, to fish and get all kinds of information from others. So we require you have your own domain. And then as you add that, hopefully it's as frictionless as it was for Jeff. We're working hard on making that even better for users. But once you have that set up, then you can send from your own custom domain. And I should probably mention that by default, we recommend people use subdomains. So a subdomain is like something dot whatever your email or whatever your domain happens to be. So let's say I have example.com. We recommend you kind of segment off different types of sending. So you might have like contact.sample.com or example.com or whatever. And what that allows is when emails inboxes receive your information, if there happens to be a problem that comes up with a subdomain, they typically don't tank your reputation for your entire domain. Whereas if you just use like sample.com and something goes wrong, let's say somebody starts signing up using fake email addresses in your form and uses a bot to do that and sends you thousands, gets thousands of emails sent out through your Resend account. Suddenly, Gmail or Yahoo or Outlook may look at that and say, "Ooh, this is a bad sender," and start sending your stuff to spam immediately. And that's a really hard thing to recover from. Whereas typically, if you have that on a subdomain, that can be really helpful to kind of segment off dangerous types of sending that usually are kind of out of your control or something you didn't anticipate. And so that's probably the first tip is just whenever possible, use subdomains to segment off different types of sending. And that may seem like you may be like, well, I don't have anything at newsletter.example.com or whatever. You don't have to have something living there. You just need to be able to say this email comes from this section of my website. And that allows, again, email service or inboxes to segment that off and kind of understand where that sending comes from. So that would be the first kind of tip I would have. Secondly, there's a lot of times where testing can kind of go wrong. If you're a developer or more technical, you would probably want to say, let me test this. And so maybe you, instead of using your own email address on your contact form, you start using fake email addresses just to test, is this working? Is it not working? And you're just typing in like whatever at gmail.com. The problem is, even though those are kind of fake emails for you, they're real emails for mailboxes. And so it can actually start to affect your reputation in a bad way. So that's another thing to pay attention to is whenever you test, either use your own email address or a valid email address, or we actually have a bunch of testing email addresses. So if you want to test what happens when somebody sends and a user complains, or what happens when I send an email but the account doesn't exist, we have some testing email addresses that kind of mimic that flow without actually sending from your account. So things like bounced at resend.dev or complained at resend.dev. And you can just search resend test email accounts and see how that works. So that's another helpful tip is if you want to really test your flows, especially from a developer's perspective, it's helpful to use something that won't tank your reputation while you're trying to get set up. And then probably the third thing also around sending, because that's the point we want to deliver to actual inboxes, is make sure that you warm up your sending. Imagine it like a postal service. When you first start sending, they would expect that you're going to send a little bit at a time, and they will at first kind of hold you cautiously. In fact, they may even rate limit you. Gmail may slow down your emails reaching the inbox until they can be assured that you're a good sender. And they pay attention to things like, do people read this? Are they clicking on links in here? Are the people marking it as spam? So they want to be cautious with you, just like, a postal service would be. And as you start to send more and more, they start to trust you more and more. And so we recommend that you kind of slowly warm up a domain. We've seen before somebody gathers, I don't know, 1,000, 10,000 contacts, but they've never sent an email yet. And they decide today's the day I'm going to send a huge marketing blast. And that's what they do. The problem is obviously that they've not really warmed that up. So nobody's sure, are these people good or not? And so a lot of times you'll have deliverability issues around that. We do have a warm-up guide on our site that kind of recommends what that sequence should look like. And it can be as simple as just making sure that when you're collecting an email from somebody, you send them a confirmation, hey, we got you, you're in our system. Just that act of sending slowly as you start to warm up starts to tell people, okay, this is a real email inbox, this is a real product, these people are trustworthy. And then when you go to send out your marketing blast, you've already been sending dozens or hundreds of emails a day through your contact form, and then it allows you to actually send at scale. So especially once you start to get to scale, there are a lot of things that are kind of foot guns in the email industry because we don't have control over that. Ultimately, it's really the people receiving the emails, Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, etc. So those are just 3 tips. There's a bunch more around email deliverability. If you're interested in more about that, you can go to our blog. We have like a post on 10 tips for email deliverability and a bunch of other things as well that will help you. We've also done YouTube videos that kind of package it in a tighter format. But it's worth taking even just 10 minutes to learn some best practices so that you don't accidentally tank your reputation while you're just about to start something special or new for you. You want that to be a good experience. And when you're choosing an email service provider like Resend, you're really choosing a partner. we can do our part to make sure that we educate you and deliver your emails, but you also have to do a part because it's not ultimately up to you or to me. It's up to the mailboxes. And so we try to make that really easy for you, but it does require just a little bit of know-how, and we try to package that in ways that are useful and digestible. So those are three tips, but I'm happy to talk more about those or to talk more about some new features we have as well.
That's great. Great advice. Thank you, Chris. I think that partnership concept, it extends to our service as well with Cosmic. We understand that, there's a lot of negative feelings about a content management system. We've done a fantastic job of making it as frictionless and intuitive as we can. But there are definitely a lot of things that we can improve, and we always, talk to our customers about ways we can improve the service or add features that can help in their daily workflows and just make their use of Cosmic even better. So that's the reason for having these AI features to just make the process of putting your brand online even more streamlined and fun to do. So that's kind of our goal, is make a product that people love to use and be a partner with them in their success. So I really appreciate you sharing that story with our customers as well. We're excited to continue working with you guys on helping them succeed with both of our products. So thank you.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, we've always said that like DX is more than just using it. It's also what happens if things go wrong. And so we place a huge premium on support. And we post our public support numbers, how quickly we get back to people, our medium time, all that on Resend's website, so that if I have trouble, I should reach out, get a real human who actually understands me. It kind of jumps directly in the trenches with me. We'll have people hook us up to their Google Postmaster tool so we can help digest that for them. So you don't have to be the email expert. As soon as you start sending at scale, you either have to be an email expert or have an email expert. And we want to be that for you so you can just focus on building and creating and not having to navigate the complex web of a 35-year-old system. So we try to do that for you. And we really feel like support is a major part of what makes Resend special. And we have the best support engineers that the industry holds. And so it's cool to partner with people and really feel like a partner. And it's thanks to our success team.
Excellent. I love that. Yeah, we tell our customers that we're their outsourced content management team. So anything that
Huh.
they need, feel free to reach out, and we'll be there, on support channels or calls to help them uh, fix anything that's gone wrong, or help them, build on top of our platform. So that's key. Um, so I had one question, Chris. I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
about the subdomain recommendation that you had. Is that something that needs to be configured in Resend, or is that main domain setting is that a wild card that can apply to all your subdomains that you send with?
Yeah, so what happens is when an email inbox receives your email, they're going to actually look up at that specific subdomain for a record. So you do actually have to set it up in Resend that way, and that allows them to see this is a separate sender or a separate kind of group of emails. So you want to set it up in Resend that way. The other thing, and this is a little gotcha now that we have inbound, is if you use your root domain, every email sent to your root domain will go to Resend instead of to, like, let's say you also have Gmail set up. And so it's also helpful for inbound. Maybe you have a specific email address that's like inbound dot whatever your subdomain or your domain is. That allows you to say, only things sent to this subdomain should go to Resend instead of every email I ever receive now. So there are also just, especially with receiving email, technical limitations from just the way the industry works, the way DNS works, to where you would want that to be configured in Resend and obviously also in your DNS records.
Interesting. So, Chris, I can now chat with Cosmic AI using inbound emails. So via webhooks, I can trigger prompts to Cosmic AI to build my applications. So
Mm,
now I never even need to leave my inbox. I can just vibe code
just vibe code from email.
from my
It's got to
email.
be a tagline somewhere.
Oh.
Brilliant. Jeff,
Oh,
as if
I want to
you
see that
as
built
if you
out.
didn't spend enough time in your inbox. Now you've got another excuse.
Exactly.
Well, I can confirm when I logged in, Resend suggested I use a subdomain. I remember seeing that, and I, against the suggestion, went full on my actual domain. Uh,
Yeah.
but fixing that after this call for sure.
Yeah, and it's okay to do it. It's just you have to know the trade-offs and the possible risks. And so it's not guaranteed that if a subdomain goes bad, they won't mailbox providers won't slow down all sending, but usually they allow you to kind of they understand how that works and say, okay, well, maybe this one got trashed or it might take a little bit to speed up, but these are different types of emails. So it helps them to kind of understand you as a sender and not block everything or slow everything down.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Great. Well, I know we're over on time, so unless you guys have anything else you'd like to cover or add, I think that's a wrap. So, Chris, thank
Yeah,
you
no, I
for
really
joining
appreciate
us.
your time.
Well, yeah, we definitely appreciate you sharing some of these tips and tricks that you guys have at Resend. We're happy customers. We love what you guys are doing, and yeah, and it shows in kind of the combination of our products that we've got fantastic AI coding capabilities, and integrating Resend is a cinch. So thank you for making it so streamlined for us.
Yeah, of course. And thanks for trusting Resend. That means a lot.
Of course. Jeff, thank you so much for sharing your experience as well. So vibe code on, and let's continue making Cosmic the best it can be.
Heck yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you guys.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.